Every single loss for the Seattle Mariners is exactly the same. It follows the exact same script every single time, and I'll break it all down. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners dropped this one tonight, 5-1 to the Twins. They fall to 47-38 on the season. Houston wins today, so the Mariners lead in the AL West, goes down to 4.5 games. Before I dive into it, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you're new or lurking. Thank you again to all the new subs and for all the support. Under 300 subs away from 4,000. And comment your thoughts on the game down below. Really long day for me, so if I sound a little raspy and tired, by the way, 7-10 games on a Saturday should be outlawed. I think 5 or 6 should be the latest a Saturday game should start. Just my personal opinion on that. Maybe just because I had a long day, but yeah, the late game, and this one seemed to take a while as well. So, but yeah, it's the same script with the Mariners every single time that they lose. It is. Seem the wins are kind of the same way too. They come back late, rally, and win. Offense atrocious, or I should say, should start at the positives. Starting pitching good, bullpen good. I know it wasn't great tonight. Thornton had the hiccup in the sixth, but for the most part, that's the script. And then the offense atrocious. And it becomes harder and harder to talk about these. Listen, the team's still in first place. I'm not trying to sound Debbie Downer or anything, but the losses are tough to talk about because they're the same. I can only say the same thing so many times. I feel bad for repeating myself, but the team repeats itself. So of course I'm going to repeat myself because they do the same things every single time. And listen, I didn't expect them to sweep the Minnesota Twins or anything like that. Twins are a good ball club. Win tomorrow, win a series. But it's just frustrating because it's always the same script. I don't want the Mariners to lose a game 14-13 because one, that would probably take 5 hours. And two, it would still be frustrating to lose a close game. But at least I could kind of talk about something different a little bit. But it's the same stuff. The lineup was atrocious. It was terrible. And I mean, it's the same script every single time for them. And it's all 9 guys. We'll go through it a little bit, but it's every single one of them struggling. So we can sit there and go, replace this guy, replace that guy. It still leaves you with 7 guys that are struggling. I made a point on Twitter that, I'm getting close to the end with, Ty France, who's come back from the IL and been terrible. Jorge Polanco's been terrible. I'm close to ready to move on. I mean, Ty France still has like the second highest OPS of anybody in the lineup today. It's like, it's just frustrating. And that's not meant to be, that's not a positive necessarily. It's just that I don't know what to do. You can't get rid of 9 guys. Somebody here has to be better. Some of these guys have got to step up. You can make deadline acquisitions, and they should look to get better. They're in first place. They should be trying. But if some of these guys don't heat up, there's only so much an acquisition can do. Even if it's Shohei Ohtani or a prime Mike Trout or prime Ken Griffey Jr., there's only so much one person can do for a lineup. And we can talk about, move this guy here in the order, move this guy. They all stink right now. Move them where? I mean, I guess for me, it's like, what's that going to do? They've all been terrible. It's not like you're batting a guy with the 927 OPS 8 and they're all OPSing in the 6s somewhere. Truthfully, yeah, move it around. You could bat any one of these guys anywhere 1 through 9. I don't think it makes any difference. They've been awful. It's the same story. Pablo Lopez is better than his 5 ERA that he came into this game with. His underlying numbers are really good. He's clearly not a 5 ERA pitcher, but I'm not asking the Mariners to blow him out of the water and score 6-7 runs. I'm asking for 3, maybe, something. And they actually did the first 3 innings. I thought they had some decent at-bats. They get the Mitch Haniger home run, which is good to see. I love Mitch Haniger, so anytime you can do something positive, it's really nice to see that. And they had Lopez at like 70 pitches or something close to that through 3 innings. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not praising this performance, but you got a chance to chase Lopez after 5. It's 1-1. Maybe you can scrounge something out before the Twins are able to turn it over to Griffin Jacks and Duran and stuff like that, and Alcala, and maybe you can get a run or something like that and win this game. But then, they have an awful 4th and 5th inning. Lopez able to settle in and go 6 innings. So you don't even get that benefit of like, hey, they didn't score a lot of runs, but they drove up the opponent's pitch count a little bit. They did for 3 innings, and they just fell flat on their faces the rest of the way. And like I said, I didn't expect them to sweep Minnesota or anything. This isn't really, my complaint here isn't really necessarily about like this game individually. And I think you guys see that when I'm doing these recaps. It's not, yes, I'm going to break down the game, but it's not just this game. It's all the time. It's the whole, it's every time this team loses. It was even in Tampa. We talked about like against Zach Littell there. Like, yeah, Littell's fine. You need to put up runs against him. I mean, just every single game is the same thing. Pablo Lopez is really good. He's better than the 5 ERA. But somebody's hitting him because ERA is in the 5. Somebody has gotten to him. Why is it always the Mariners that are the get? Don't answer this question. This is rhetorical. I think we all know the answer. But it's always the Mariners that are the get right game for these pitchers. And I can wonder, they're actually better than their ERA, and they are. Again, I'm not taking that away, but why can't we have a game where a guy with a 6 ERA, even if he's better than that, enters the game and the Mariners blast him? Why can't they do that? Again, don't answer that. That's rhetorical, but it's the same song and dance every single time. Let's break down the box score a little bit. Bryce Miller, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 run, 2 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Nice bounce back outing from Bryce Miller. He was pretty bad in Miami last week. He was okay against Cleveland, the week before that. Not great, but did what he needed to do. I thought he looked much better today. He looked solid. The 6 strikeouts was good to see. He was really mixing up the mechanics. He was doing a lot of the hesitating leg lifts that he does, the kind of little mini Johnny Cueto, if you want to call it that, really trying to throw the hitter's timing off. And I thought for the most part, he did a good job of that for sure. I thought they could have left him in. He was only at 87 pitches. I would have been fine for sending Miller out for the 6th inning. But a couple things with that. You did have the day off on Thursday, so your bullpen is pretty rested. And we have seen Miller a few times this year. Kansas City, go back out there with pitch count in the 80s, struggle. Even Cleveland, if I remember correctly, his last inning was a bit of a roller coaster to get through. So I can understand where Miller's had some rough outings and they wanted to get him out on a positive note, and he's had some trouble finishing some of these outings and getting that extra inning. And Trent Thornton, truthfully, has been really good as of late. I'm not even that mad at Trent Thornton. Yeah, the pitch to Buxton wasn't good. The first at-bat, Correa off the end of the bat, bloops one in. The next batter, Santana, has that infield single where JP fields it. Nobody's there. I think Rojas thought that the ball was going to get through, so he went to cover third. JP flips it to nobody. He gets a couple outs, and then Buxton hits the home run. Again, I'm not letting Trent Thornton off the hook. It was a terrible pitch to Buxton, and Buxton's a really good hitter, made him pay. But you were essentially asking Trent Thornton to get 5 outs that inning. And against a good major league lineup, not going to happen. Maybe against Oakland, Chicago, Seattle, you can get away with doing that, but the Twins are too good of a lineup to get away with that, and they made you pay. And then just more lifeless ABs. The 8th inning, Dylan Moore, leadoff walk against Okert. JP Crawford swings at ball 4. And, maybe if JP reaches there, I don't know if the Mariners, I don't think they necessarily win the game, but you've got first and second, nobody out. Maybe the Twins have to go to Griffin Jaxel earlier there. Throws a lot of high leverage pitches, unavailable tomorrow. Now they pitch him in the 9th, so he may be unavailable tomorrow anyways. Maybe could have gotten down the 8th and maybe force him to use Duran, and then maybe he's down tomorrow. I don't know, but JP swings at ball 4. Then you've got Dylan Moore at first with 2 outs. Cal Raleigh lines a base hit off the wall in left field. Well hit. Almost got another home run off of Okert like the grand slam in Minnesota. Should say another home. I think I said another hit. I meant another home run. Goes off the wall, and Cal's thrown out at second base. 2 dumb things on that. One, why is Cal going for second base there? His run means nothing. You need base runners. And if that's a single, it's a single. First and third, the tying run is on deck. You probably force the Twins to go to Jax against Mitch Garver there. And maybe it forces Jax out tomorrow. Again, he might be down tomorrow anyways, but, at the time you don't know that. So it would have maybe forced a pitching change. And why don't you challenge that? Why wouldn't you challenge that Cal Raleigh play at second base? I don't get that at all. Honestly, on the replay, I thought he missed the tag. And I thought he got him on the back leg after he'd already touched the base. Now listen, is that overturned? I don't know, but what are you holding on to the challenge for? It's 5-1 in the 8th inning. What are you going to do with it in the 9th? What's the point? Throw the flag. I know it's not a flag, but that is the definition of we got nothing to lose here. I'm challenging that regardless. Even if my guy goes like this, I'm probably going, you know what? Just look at it. Who cares? And it was close enough that I don't understand why they give the thumbs down. I don't know if that's on Scott or the guys that look at the replays or not, because Scott's going off of what they're telling him. Listen, I get if you're tagged out by 50 feet, even then, just challenge it. Who cares? What's it going to hurt you? I can understand in the third inning of the game, even at 5-1, being like, yeah, you never know. There could be something later. It's the eighth inning of a 5-1 game. If it's overturned, you got second and third. Even if a base hit 5-3, you're back in this a little bit for the ninth. I don't understand. I don't understand Cal trying to stretch it, and I don't understand not challenging it. I don't get that. I don't get that at all, why you wouldn't challenge that play. I got off on I don't even know where I was going with that. Bryce Miller was solid. Trent Thornton was rough. Was asked to get more outs than should have been needed. Colin Snyder looked really good. He's been solid. He had come up earlier in that Kansas City series and was sent back down. I hope he sticks. He's looked pretty good. And I think even with, Stanek really stepping up, Santos being close to getting back, I think you still want any good reliever you can find. So hopefully Colin Snyder sticks. Saucedo pitched 2/3 of an inning with a couple strikeouts, and Bizzardo looked good in his inning and a third as well. So, bullpen for the most part pretty good. And I think Thornton probably gets out of that inning if it's not for the bloop by Correa and then that weird infield hit from Carlos Santana. Again, Thornton's been really solid of late, and the offense has to be better, right? Like I said, with pitching, I'm not saying the Mariners pitching's always been perfect this year when I talk about it being the same script. For the most part, starting pitching has been really, really good. It's going to have off days. It's going to happen. I didn't rip Munoz for his outing in Tampa. It happens. Everybody's going to have off days. The offense has just consistently been the problem. So I can't go, yeah, you guys get a little bit of a pass for today. And winning can mask a lot of things. When you win games, it can make you forget some of the struggles. Winning is the best cure for everything, whether it's clubhouse chemistry issues or even just team issues. Winning cures all. And when you lose these games, it just gets magnified. Let's go through the lineup. JP 1 for 4 with a leadoff hit, ended up advancing to second in that first inning, a wild pitch. Mariners don't score. Julio was awful. He had a couple solid lineouts to right field that were hit well. And again, if Julio was, OPSing 847, 799, whatever you want to put it at, I can forgive it, but you don't get a pass. And again, every time it looks like Julio looks like he's coming out of it, just goes right back down. I don't know if when I said it, I think it might have been after the home run against Texas. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is when Julio gets going. I can't do it anymore. And I hope he does. I believe in Julio, and I think he will. But every time that happens, it's just right back down. And that's been this offensive. Every time there's signs of life, right back down. No staying power for anybody in this lineup. Cal was 1 for 3 with the hit and a walk. But here's the thing. Not only did Cal have a rough at-bat in the first inning where a runner at third, less than 2 outs, had a chance to get home, didn't do it. Works the walk, awesome. And then, caught or not thrown out going to second on a play that didn't need to happen. Leave it at first and third in that situation. Cal had one of the better offensive games, but even with that, 2 really, really tough situations for Cal where he was bad. The base running and then, not getting the runner in from third in the first inning. Mitch Garver was atrocious today. 0 for 4, left runners on base. He had a chance in the first inning to bring the runner home, and he had a chance in the third inning with runners at second and third. Base hit would give the Mariners the lead. Luke Raley was 1 for 4. Luke's a guy that not going to get on too much. He's been pretty solid. He's been about what I would expect. Ty France, 0 for 4. Ty's been terrible since coming off the IL. He was showing some really, really good signs before that. He was really on a hot streak, and maybe that injury is still affecting him. But we are now, 11 games back from the injury? I'm okay for a week going. It takes some time. But Ty France's OPS, and again, OPS isn't everything. It's just I'm looking at the box score. I'm using it. It's 692. That's not enough from your first baseman. But then on the flip side, the problem is 692 is one of your better OPSs in the lineup. And this is where it just gets so I don't know. I don't know what to do there. But it's not good enough. And as much as I've been like this with Ty France this year, big time, but the overall numbers are not good. Moving on after that, Jorge Polanco, 1 for 3. Good to see the double. That was nice. I said on Twitter, let me see something from Jorge Polanco. And it was literally before that bat, I said double, home run, something. Gets the double. Cool, I'll take it. And it was on a 99 mile per hour fastball. That was good to see because Polanco has been unable to hit fastballs this year. So maybe that's a sign that he's coming out of it. But Polanco's been atrocious, and he's been terrible since he's come back from the injury. I have no clue what has happened to Jorge Polanco. I have no idea how he's dropped off this far. And I get it. You're like, well, he's not hitting the fastball. I know, but why? Why all of a sudden can this guy not hit a fastball? Is he just cooked? I mean, he's 30 years old. He's not ancient, and I can kind of understand why Colton Wong last year dropped off. Like, I can see the profile dropping off a little bit. I just don't see why Jorge Polanco has gone from a completely solid, productive hitter to awful. I mean, unless there's an injury that we just don't know about or something. And I don't know. And I don't have a problem with them playing Polanco over Bliss right now. You need to see if something's in the tank from Polanco. You need to see that he was, a bat you acquired and you gave up a pretty significant package for. Nothing that I'm going to lose sleep over any of those guys really in that deal. Even Gonzalez, whatever. I'm not losing any sleep over it. And the Mariners have clearly rebuilt their farm system. But so I don't have a problem with them playing Polanco. I get trying to get something out of it. But eventually you're going to reach a breaking point with these guys where you're going to have to make a decision on a lot of them. Do you DFA Jorge Polanco here at some point? I don't think we're there yet, but I mean, in a couple weeks, if it's not getting better, I think you've got to think about it. I do. Ty France, I think you've got to think about it if it doesn't get going here in a little bit. Maybe not DFA, but something you've got to do here to get a spark going or to make a change. But then again, what do you do? Okay, do you play Ryan Bliss at second? Sure, Bliss has been better than Polanco this year, but I don't necessarily know if he'll be better the rest of the way going forward. I don't know what the answer is there. Mitch Haniger. Mitch had a nice game. He had actually a pretty good game yesterday. Had a couple walks, 1 for 3 with the home run. Still not a great year for Mitch Haniger, but good to see. And, when guys have good nights at the plate, I usually kind of go, okay, like I give you the pass for tonight. But overall, Mitch Haniger has not been very good. Good to see them. Love Mitch Haniger, but still, another guy that is scuffling. Josh Rojas, 1 for 2. I've been fine with Rojas for the most part. I'm not going to harp on him too much. It's the left-handed side of a third base platoon. And then Dylan Moore worked a walks pinch hitter. I forgot who was talking about on Twitter. I don't know if it was my man Mariner Sir, if it was Mariner Muse. I don't remember who was talking about it. I think might have been both of them having a conversation. And it's funny, the role players have actually done pretty well for this team and what you'd expect from them. Dylan Moore, 731 OPS, I think a 112 WRC plus. Dylan Moore's done his job. Luke Raley, done his job. I'm trying to think who else. But, a lot of Josh Rojas, if you want to call him a role player, for the most part, has done his job. You can even make a small case. I know he's had some really frustrating at-bats, and he hasn't been, very good in clutch situations. But Dom Canzone, overall, the numbers are decent. It's the everyday guy. It's JP. It's Julio. Cal's numbers overall aren't great. He's at least, when he's hit, it's been in close games and tight situations, which certainly makes it better because at least when he's delivering, it's huge. But it's Jorge Polanco, Ty France, Mitch Garver. It's all them. Mitch Garver's another one. Looks like he's coming out of it. Slides back down a little bit. I'm exhausted. I'm going to get out of here. Listen, I always try to end on positive notes. I always like to put good vibes out there. Mariners still 4.5 games up in the division. The good news, I guess, is that they're 4.5 out and you've got some good baseball players who are not swinging the bats well. Last year we saw this team kind of in late July, early August, get on a heater, get on a roll. If they can do something like that again this year, they will win the AL West because they have enough of a cushion, at least at the moment, and they don't go completely tanking for the next month. They'll probably win the division if they can go on one of those heaters like they did last year. And truthfully, the year before, too, when they made the playoffs with the 14-game winning streak, not asking for a 14-game winning streak, nor do I expect one. But, at some point, these bats are going to have to heat up because otherwise Houston will catch you. They will. And it's kind of the first time I've really said that. Not that I haven't, implied it, but you've got to be better than this. And it's a really tough homestand. Minnesota's a good ball club. They have a good chance to win this series tomorrow. Then you play Baltimore, probably the best team in baseball, you can make a case. And Toronto's, scuffling, but they played better of late. And they've got enough superstar talent that they could give you some fits. This homestand could be a tough one. And the Mariners have played really well at home, but they have got to be up to the task. And this offense has got to be better. Luis Castillo does go tomorrow on normal rest. I thought they may push him back and just give him an extra day, especially since he hasn't looked all that sharp his last few outings. He has got to be really, really sharp tomorrow because I just don't have faith in this offense. And I'm like, listen, baseball's weird. It's random. Mariners could put up 14 runs tomorrow. But right now, I just don't have faith that they're going to do anything like that. Luis Castillo's got to dominate. We need a 6-7 shutout inning performance from Castillo. Something to step up and be the ace of the staff. I was very disappointed with his outing in Tampa because they needed a big start. He did not deliver in that game. It's kind of like we know the offense isn't going to deliver. Sometimes you have to ask a little bit more of your superstars, of your better players. And offensively, again, that's where I go back to it. Like, the role players have been okay. JP is a guy that needs to be better. Cal needs to be better. Julio needs to be better. Garver needs to be better. Polanco needs to be better. Mariners are still in really good shape. They are. And I guess you could make a case that they were playing exactly the way they are and everybody was killing it, or playing better. You go, okay, well, this is the peak. I still think there's something left in this team's tank to go up one more level. I really do. I truly do. Like, and listen, despite tonight's frustration, it's been a fun season so far, for this team. And they're 9 games over 500. And I don't feel like they've really played dialed in baseball. They've had some stretches of it, or I shouldn't even say stretches. They've had some moments, but I still don't think we've seen the best baseball from this team. Make it happen tomorrow. Let's make it happen on a Sunday afternoon. Go get us. Listen, win tomorrow, win a series. If you win a series against Minnesota Twins, that's solid. So again, a lot of this rant is not just like, oh, tonight just drives me nuts. Minnesota's a good ball club. They got you. I really didn't expect to win this game. I thought Lopez versus Miller was a tough matchup for the Mariners. But like I said, it's just every single game follows the same script. And I'm tired of it. It is frustrating. It is frustrating because I feel like I have to repeat myself every single night. Yeah, how dare the Mariners make me have to repeat myself? But I'm going to get out of here, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I didn't mean to come across as a super Debbie Downer tonight. I am literally exhausted. I told you guys to do a presentation today. I've been up since 4:30, and it's now 10:54. So a lot of it's just exhaustion. I'm not going to lie. There was a part of me that almost pushed this post game to tomorrow, because especially when Buxton hit that home run. But it is what it is. Glad I was able to get it out tonight. Love y'all. Have a good night. Win tomorrow. Win the series. Go Mariners. Peace.